AEW Grand Slam just got a rating of 703,000. I want to repeat myself. 703,000. Not 730, not 803, not 903. 703,000. That is just barely above the 600,000s. What are we doing here? And not to mention, this is down from last year, which is 800, which last year's Grand Slam, which was 833,000, and that was down from 2022's Grand Slam, which was about 1.1 million, and that was down from the 2021 Grand Slam, the first ever Grand Slam, which got about 1.2 million viewers. Actually, more than 1.2 million viewers, and that's not even counting ticket sales. Ticket sales, first Grand Slam, 20,000. The next Grand Slam was like, I don't know, 15 or maybe 11,000. I think it was like 15,000. Then 2023 was 11, and this one was like 9. And as I'm watching the show last night, I couldn't help but think to myself, yeah, I mean, I don't expect a very big rating for the show at all. I mean, I haven't expected a big rating for AEW in a long time. The way things are going right now, they're never getting to 1 million. The only way they're getting past 1 million ever again, or even in the 900,000s, even in the 900,000s, the only way they're ever getting there again is if things change, and things change quick. But it's not happening, so I can confidently tell you, AEW will never get at least 900,000 viewers ever again. So there you go about that. And when it comes to 800,000 viewers, even that is seeming like a pipe dream every week that continues. I'm not saying the wrestling on the show was bad, because I don't think it was. In fact, here is a clip of me reacting to one of the spots from last night. Alright, by the way, that was awesome. Like, what just happened was awesome, but the WWE toxic fans are going to convince you that that wasn't awesome. That was awesome. I mean, that was a pretty good match. But this is me earlier explaining why I don't even like this match in the first place. Take a watch. Okay, can somebody please explain this to me? Because I got no idea what's going on. So Will Ospreay, just a super over babyface, like he is the guy in AEW. The crowd loves him. Everybody loves him. He's a great wrestler. He's teaming with Kyle Fletcher, who, I get it. They've, kind of like they were in a trio before and stuff. And I understand their whole relationship. And that makes sense. However, Kyle Fletcher is a bad guy with Don Callis. And Don Callis is the most hated man in AEW. And Kyle Fletcher is part of the Don Callis family. But for some reason, Ospreay is teaming with Kyle Fletcher. And Don Callis is going for Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay in this match on commentary, even though the Young Bucks are the ones who turned heel. So not only did that make absolutely no sense, but we also get Bryan versus Nigel. Now, Bryan versus Nigel, I don't even know what to say about this. The match was fine, sure. But this was a zero build, absolutely forced match. It didn't need to happen. Nigel on commentary, taking shots at Danielson, is not a build, by the way. This is a dream match that would have been so much more effective had it happened later on. Or had it happened with this week to week storytelling with these two men. But instead, Nigel comes out at All In, does his thing, it's a huge surprise that Nigel McGuinness is there. And then All Out happens, and like the next week, he's like, actually, it's going to be me versus Bryan Danielson, you're welcome. Meanwhile, Bryan Danielson was just choked out with a bag wrapped around his face by Jon Moxley and Pac and Claudio. And also, Christian Cage came out, and then he left, and he sees Pac and Claudio, as if Pac and Claudio, told him not to do that, even though Pac and Claudio don't like him. And speaking of Pac and Claudio, guess what we're getting on Collision? Actually, I don't know if it's tomorrow night or if it's on Collision. I don't remember. But guess what we're getting? We're getting a 3-man tag. Who's in the tag match? Well, obviously, it's going to be Pac and Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. His name is Wheeler Yuta. And he's in this match with Pac and Claudio, even though Pac and Claudio just turned on Bryan Danielson. Now, they're probably going to do some kind of story here, I would imagine. Maybe Wheeler is like, well, I don't really like you guys, so I'm not in this match with you. Go find somebody else. Or maybe, I don't know, Hey, you know what'd be interesting? Bell rings, and Claudio and Pac just beat up Wheeler. How about that? Why is this match happening? Why are we not getting answers to the things that happened at All Out weeks ago? Why are we not getting answers? You know, why did Jon Moxley do what he did, and where does Wheeler Yuta stand, and you know, what are Pac and Claudio, and you know, what's the relationship with Wheeler Yuta? Are they still the Trios champions? Does Wheeler want to be the Trios champions? We haven't gotten an answer to any of that. All we've gotten is Jon Moxley in a white shirt saying it's not Tony Schiavone's company anymore. Weeks have went by since Moxley turned heel on Danielson. Like, there's so much that happened yesterday where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, first of all, this card has absolutely no build to it. I mean, what is this? Like Forbidden Door? Am I watching Forbidden Door right now? Just a thing with no build to anything, no story? Like, what are we doing right now? Am I watching Wrestle Dream? Which, by the way, I fear that's exactly what Wrestle Dream is going to become. It's going to become just another Forbidden Door. You know? And we've only had 2 of them. Yeah, I don't even really know what to say anymore about the state of AEW. It is absolutely the worst it has ever been. This is the worst it's ever been. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm saying it. I can't believe I'm losing my mind. Bring back Joey Janela. That's what I say. Bring back Joey Janela. At this point, why not? You can't get any worse. And I didn't even mention the fact that MVP came out, and he's talking about how, you know, I mean, it seems like there's going to be the Hurt Business in AEW. Well, who's excited for that? I'm excited. Oh, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for Shelton and Bobby Lashley to show up in AEW with MVP and then get lost in the shuffle like every single person does who comes to AEW. It's weird because AEW, it's not like the WWE where it's organized and here's what's happening this week and we know what's going to be happening for the next couple of months. We know the stories. We know, you know, how to capture the fans in the palm of our hand. We know what we're doing. There's no logic behind what's happening in AEW. Now, Tony Khan mentioned this not too recently, but I heard this was from like Meltzer or something. Meltzer mentioned that Tony Khan said this from somewhere. I don't know what's going on, by the way, but this is basically Tony Khan said that he didn't say, but he basically, I think he told like some people in the back, long-term storytelling, long-term booking is done. And Tony Khan books week to week to week. And that I believe, because it feels like every show is booked week to week to week. I said this before, every couple of months it feels like the AEW is just a different company altogether. Of course it's week to week to week booking. That's why none of this makes any sense! Now before I go, I want to say 2 things. Number 1, the Mr. McMahon documentary came out. Yes, I have seen it, and yes, it is exactly what I said it was going to be. When are you people going to realize that I'm always right? When it comes to wrestling, WWE, AEW, doesn't matter, I am always right. It's my opinion, or the highway's opinion. I said exactly what this is going to be. This is not going to give any information. I said this will not give any new information to people who generally know the story of Vince and Vince's WWE and WWF and the history of how Vince kind of became this, whatever. I said that there's going to be no new information. This is filled with Vince McMahon yes men. Now, that's not to say it's not a good documentary. It's a good documentary. It's entertaining. It's kind of funny. It's interesting. You don't have to watch documentaries to just learn information. You can just watch documentaries even though you know everything that's going to happen in it. I mean, take a look at my documentary, for example, right? AEW in 2025. The whole thing talks about the beginning of AEW and all the biggest moments that happened, from 2019 all the way until now, and, what it's going to look like in 2025 a little bit. And that's it. But we know that because we've been watching AEW. That's it for me. Good night.